Welcome back, scholars, to Warframe Academy. Today's subject is... This is another one of those super deceptively boring episodes, but please stick around because there is plenty to cover and a surprising amount of prep that went into making this episode. If you've ever played a video game before, you probably won't be surprised when I say that you move using the WASD keys, hold shift to sprint, tap shift to roll, hold control to crouch, space to jump, and mouse movement to look around. You can also double jump by jumping again while in midair, but only once until your feet hit the ground. But for those of you who have never played a video game before, happy to have you. Warframe probably isn't the best way to get into video games, but my first was SimCity on the SNES, so whatever works for you, I suppose. Now on to something a little bit more Warframe specific. If you jump at a wall and hold right click while close to the wall, you'll actually stick to it for a brief window of time like some sort of spider. There are a few applications for wall latching, primarily making yourself harder to hit whilst also giving yourself a potentially more advantageous angle on the enemies you're firing at. It also allows for greater repositioning. If you're stuck in a corner, you can jump straight up before sticking to the wall and launching yourself away. There is also an arcane that increases your damage while wall latched, as well as several mods and riven modifiers that affect certain stats while you're wall latched. The next trick you'll be adding to your collection is called aim gliding and is triggered simply by holding right click after jumping. This will cause your Warframe to slow down mid-air akin to old school bullet time like Max Payne, but just be aware that you're the only one being slowed. Aim gliding allows you to aim while gliding, and is actually super useful for seeing upcoming corners you can wall latch and jump from. Bullet jumping, one of the things Warframe is now most famous for. You can actually achieve a bullet jump by crouching and jumping at the same time. This will cause your Warframe to twist through the air like a pinwheel, gaining massive amounts of variable momentum and propulsion. If you have some forward momentum before initiating the bullet jump, you can actually fling yourself even further, and when you combine it with sprinting, sliding and aim gliding, you can actually traverse levels with speed and grace on even the slowest of frames. To put it simply, that is it for movement mostly. You can turn off the video here having learned all the basics. However, I know my scholars and I know you'll stick around for a little history lesson as well as some cool movement frame tech, am I right? It's early on in the lifespan of Warframe, and movement looked a lot different. It was mostly just running from space to space with some slides and some wall running? Yes, indeed, early versions of Warframe featured running on walls. It ended up being removed in 2015 because of difficulties of making it work on some of the new tile sets. And to be frank, the implementation was kind of ass. I then found out a few weeks ago that Rebecca Ford Space Mum herself is actually bringing wall running back with the old Peace Story expansion that is coming out next month, December 2025.
As time goes on and the man in the wall continues, don't you think it's time that we run on the wall again?
Just over a decade after it was removed, absolutely based. Back in these times, we also didn't have bullet jumping, but instead clever players discovered something called coptering, wherein certain melee weapons could be swung with specific timing within jumping and slides that they could then use to generate momentum and propulsion to fling themselves around. D eventually implemented this into the movement system and created the bullet jump. Warframe also used to have a stamina bar, but I can't speak much on how this affected the game back in the day because I didn't play, but I can definitely take a guess that it wasn't something players were sad to see gone. With any good game with a lot of playable classes or characters or whatever, there will invariably be characters that do something interesting with movement. Soldier's rocket jump from TF2, Lucio's wall run from Overwatch 2, Lifter being able to catapult themselves into the sun from Risk of Rain 2, Assault being able to launch themselves at all the heretics from Space Marine 2, oh my god there's a lot of fucking 2s, Scout being the professional asshole from Deep Rock Galactic, and literally every character from Apex Legends, the list goes on. Likewise, Warframe has, by the time this episode's come out, at least 64 Warframes, and a good number of them do something interesting with the game's intense parkour-based systems. So let's just run you through a few so that you guys get some fun frames to focus on getting if they fascinate you. Nezza. Nezza is the frame of zero friction. His passive makes it so that his slides last way longer than normal, and he gets way more speed sledding around the world. This is actually a real play on the tactical slide already available to the player. Gauss. Gauss, simply put, has a jet engine attached to his first ability. You press 1 and he becomes a blur that is instantly defeated by corners. Volt. Volt's second ability actually boosts his speed and the speed for those around him based on his effective range. It can be interesting when you're trundling through a level at happy pace just for a nearby Volt to hit you with speed boost and suddenly it feels like you're losing your mind. Titania. Titania has some insane depth, and yet I can summarise it purely by saying that she can shrink herself down and fly around the level like an Archwing. Auraxia. Araxia is single-handedly the reason that Arcane Arachne took a massive leap in price. She has infinite wall latch, and the ability to pounce at her enemies from walls a la Hunter from Left 4 Dead 2, taking some fun movement tech all the way to its logical extreme, and many, many more. All of these frames play with movement in a completely different way, but the core parkour system is what lets every Warframe feel fluid and fun. I'd show more, but frankly I've spent my entire day off this week writing that much and I still have yet to record and edit this. And that's it! A full explanation of movement, a brief history, and a few examples and frames that really mess with the established formula. I really hope this episode has helped many of you to get around the Origin system a little bit easier. And now it's time for some Patreon shoutouts. Huge thank you to Default Account and Dydra for being paid subscribers for the show, and huge thanks to the names on the right for becoming free members. And that's all for now, but come back next time for the episode talking about combat basics. Please be sure to subscribe for future episodes, join the Patreon for behind the scenes content, and to help make the show even better, leave a comment accusing me of being bad at Warframe, ring your parents and tell them you love them. Until next time, scholars, see you again soon.